In a dramatic escalation of the ongoing conflict, tens of thousands of Israeli reservists have mobilized for duty, as the military leadership finds itself at odds with government ministers. This new offensive aims to capture Gaza City, a move that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is eager to expedite, despite cautionary advice from high-ranking military officials. On Tuesday, Palestinian health authorities reported that Israeli airstrikes and artillery fire across the Gaza Strip resulted in the deaths of at least 100 individuals, with 35 fatalities occurring in Gaza City, located in the northern part of the enclave, as Israeli forces prepared for the anticipated military action. Israeli Army radio indicated that around 40,000 reservists were set to report for duty on that day. In August, Israel's security cabinet, under Netanyahu's leadership, approved a strategy to intensify the nearly 2-year-long military campaign in Gaza, specifically targeting Gaza City, which Israeli forces had initially stormed at the onset of the conflict, engaging in intense urban combat against Hamas. Currently, Israeli forces control approximately 75% of the Gaza Strip. Tensions flared during a security cabinet meeting held late Sunday, where heated exchanges occurred between Netanyahu and his ministers, who are pushing for a swift offensive, and the chief of the armed forces, Eyal Zamir, who has advocated for a ceasefire agreement with Hamas. Zamir expressed concerns that a military advance into Gaza City could jeopardize hostages and further strain an already stretched military, as reported by 4 ministers and 2 military officials who attended the meeting. Zamir has previously clashed with the cabinet over military strategies. On August 20, Netanyahu announced a directive for a quicker push to seize Gaza City, but the following day, military officials cautioned that such an offensive could endanger hostages and indicated that any military action might be delayed for up to 2 months, according to sources close to Netanyahu and a defense official. The military has emphasized the need for additional time to facilitate humanitarian aid for civilians in Gaza, where reports of starvation are becoming increasingly dire. Surveys have revealed that many reservists are dissatisfied with the cabinet's plans, with some openly criticizing the government for lacking a coherent strategy, a post-war plan for Gaza, or clear objectives for achieving victory. One combat reservist, who has been deployed in Gaza since the conflict began on October 7, 2023, shared his feelings of frustration, stating, "I don't feel like I'm doing anything that really applies significant pressure to have Hamas release the hostages," while requesting anonymity due to restrictions on public statements. Despite Zamir's public skepticism regarding the wisdom of launching a new offensive, he reassured reservists at a military base on Tuesday that the army was committed to achieving nothing less than a decisive victory, and would continue the conflict until that goal was met. "We are preparing for the continuation of the war. We are going to increase and enhance the strikes of our operation, and that is why we called you," he stated. Zamir further asserted, "We have already begun the ground operation in Gaza. Make no mistake, we are already entering places we have never entered before." In terms of casualties, Gaza health authorities reported that at least 100 individuals had died due to Israeli airstrikes, tank shelling, and gunfire throughout the coastal enclave, with many more injured on Tuesday. Among the deceased was local journalist Rasmi Salem, and the Hamas-run media office in Gaza reported that 248 Palestinian journalists have been killed by Israeli fire since the onset of the war. Outside Al-Shifa Hospital in Gaza City, the scene was heart-wrenching, with white plastic body bags lined up on the street as grieving crowds mourned their lost loved ones. One relative, Nasser, lamented, "We fled our homes with nothing. They went to get clothes and food from their homes, to bring clothes for their children and food for themselves. And look now, they came back as martyrs." The Israeli military has not provided immediate comments on the situation, but has previously stated that its forces are engaged in combat with militants on the outskirts of Gaza City, targeting tunnels, militant infrastructure, and seizing weapons. Additional reports indicated that 5 individuals waiting in line for food at an aid distribution center in southern Gaza were killed, according to Palestinian medics. Furthermore, the Gaza Health Ministry reported that 13 more Palestinians, including 3 children, succumbed to malnutrition and starvation over the past 24 hours, raising the total number of deaths attributed to such causes to at least 361, with 130 of those being children, the majority occurring in recent weeks. Israel disputes the figures provided by Gaza's Hamas-run health ministry regarding starvation-related fatalities, arguing that many of these deaths stem from other medical issues. The conflict erupted on October 7, 2023, when Hamas militants launched an attack on southern Israeli communities near the border, resulting in approximately 1,200 deaths, predominantly among civilians, and the abduction of 251 hostages, including children, into Gaza, according to Israeli statistics. Since then, over 62,000 Palestinians have reportedly lost their lives in Israel's air and ground operations in Gaza, as per Gaza health officials, who do not specify how many of the deceased were militants, but assert that the majority of casualties have been women and children. Ceasefire negotiations reached an impasse in July, and among the 48 remaining hostages, Israeli authorities believe that 20 are still alive. What are your thoughts on the current military strategy? Do you believe a ceasefire is a viable option, or should the offensive continue? Share your opinions in the comments below.